Hello and welcome to Rockin Realities. Our guest today is the great Jeff Mezzrow from the Jeff Mezzrow Band. Please enjoy the interview. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey. You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, I like your t-shirt, Lily.
Oh yes, my dad gave it to me. It's too big for me, but it's cool.
Unbelievable. You know, one of my daughters wears that as pajamas.
He also gave me he gave me all of these.
Oh my God. Okay. That's pretty cool. Hey, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Lily brother, what's your name?
My name is Vince.
Is what?
Vincent.
Vince.
Yeah.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Where are you guys?
We're in Bavaria. Bavarian forest.
Ah, okay. So near Liederbühne.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Hey.
I'm home now because with the lockdown it doesn't make sense for me to be in Munich, so I'm home.
Right. Got it. Yeah. Lockdown. Unbelievable, right? It's been like nothing but unbelievable shit for the past year. So I guess that's, it's just part of it.
Yeah. Right. So should we talk about your new album?
Yeah, sure. We could talk about this album. We could you mean this?
Yes, exactly.
Sure. Maybe I should back it up though a little and just start, how I got to Germany and stuff, because it's kind of an interesting story.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I was born in Chicago, and Southside of Chicago in 1954, and then when I graduated high school, I hitchhiked to Boston and played in a shitload of bands. And a good buddy of mine, Rick Colo, he moved to New York, pretty close by, and he met a German tourist at a gig he was playing in Greenwich Village and fell in love and moved to Germany. And then called me up and said, hey, you want to come? We can get out. They love the kind of music we play here. Can just come on over and we'll do a bunch of gigs. So that's what happened. And, that was 1991. And sort of been back and forth a little bit, but pretty much living here. Moved to Berlin and with my wife, Ava, in 2004 to do the Blue Man Group. Been doing that ever since until lockdown. And still touring with Mez, which I call the Jeff Mezzrow Band now because we've had so many members come and go, it's like, so just call the Jeff Mezzrow Band. And yeah, we recorded this record, and our last gig, I think I sent you one of the songs we played at our last gig was Goldfinger, dedicated to the Nightmare in the White House, because he loves only gold. And that was our last gig at the Village Club, also in Bavaria, which is another place like Robinson, incredible, like hippie-ish sort of vibe of just people who want to get a good vibe and have a good time and listen to music. And that was our last gig. I think it was March 6th or something. And then we went to Switzerland where, all these gigs were like, not too many people because people had already started getting scared. But we were starting to sell. Everybody who was there bought CDs, and it was like, oh, this is great. We'll have this paid for in no time. And then boom, everything locked down. So yeah, the CD is very political in nature, which is something new for me because most of my stuff has just been about life experience, love, heartache, whatever, But the past 4 years with Trump, it's sort of impossible to ignore the shit show, And so a lot of the stuff written on the record here, I mean, most of the songs are about that, like killing the truth, which I think the title says it all. I think that in American politics, the truth, with Donald Trump is the head of the nation. The truth has just died. It's like, where is the truth? And anyway, on and on, a lot of songs about that. And second song, Sap. Do you know what a sap is?
I'm not sure because in Bavaria, Sap is a nickname for Joseph.
No. It's a little bit somebody who just believes whatever you say.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's about the financial situation where, people pay taxes and the wealthy don't pay any taxes, and the wealthy are getting so much more wealthy that it's pretty much like aristocracy or nobility now. They have so much more power than anybody. And, it's like the French Revolution. People, I don't want it to get that far. I don't want to see like guillotines, because that's what it will come to if they don't stop this, just unbelievable disparity of income. Like, I don't know, I heard this figure, like a CEO when I was a kid in the 60s earned 30 times more than a worker in his company. And now a CEO earns 300 times what the average worker earns. So how can that be right? How can that be fair? 300 times. So if a guy makes 10 bucks an hour, the CEO is making what, 3,000?
Yeah,
Hello?
that's definitely not fair.
Yeah, that can't be fair. And that can't lead to good things. It's just going to lead to violence. Like you see in Washington, people start just freaking out. They can't digest life anymore, Cheers.
Cheers.
But, I don't know, like going back, I was so, blown away by the blues. I grew up in Chicago, so it was kind of in the air, and I saw all those guys like, Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf, B.B. King, Albert King, Otis Rush. Met Albert King many times. Albert King played at my high school graduation.
Oh, that's cool.
It was really unbelievable. I was instrumental in getting him there. And it wasn't, we had a huge high school. And so we had the money to do it. I mean, we had like 4,000 kids. So it was a real, like high school you see at one of these TV shows, Anyway, so he played, and everybody had a white suit on, and the girls wore dresses, and all the boys had white suits with a flower, like a carnation here. So I walked up to him. He's a really tall guy, and I was like, "Mr. King, you are my hero," because he's my favorite guitar player of all time. You're my hero. He's a big guy, I just wanted to tell you that it's such an honor having you here. And he's really big. He's got a really deep voice, and his eyes were almost not open. He's looking down at me. He goes, "I envy y'all because you're so white." And it was like, ooh, and it was a play on the fact that we were wearing white suits, but also that we were almost all white people.
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy duty. And the shit goes on today. It hasn't stopped. It's the same old ball game, But anyway, the blues, just clobbered me. But like so many guys from my generation, it took the fucking Brits to bring it over to America. Here I was growing up in Chicago, and who turned me onto the blues but the fucking Rolling Stones, So ironic. And it was like all the the early songs like killed me. And, of course, Satisfaction was enormous, but this one. Well, I told you once and I told you twice. Never listen to my advice. Like that. And I was hypnotized immediately. you know, the Beatles were like awesome, but that was like fucking voodoo, you know, take your clothes off. Fuck, what are they doing, you know? So that's pretty much what got me going. And you know, played shows when I was in high school, made more money than I made many times later in life, because the economy was so different that you could actually get paid, you know. I think my first gig was $100. I got $100. And it was just, you know, I got my mom's car, drove to the high school, set up in the gym and played and went home, and I got $100. So, I mean, you know, times have changed.
Yeah, definitely. We didn't get that much at our first show.
Yeah, and $100 then is worth, you know, $500 now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, but you know, but then of course it got hard when, you know, trying to earn a living doing that is, you know, there were many times in Boston where I lived a long time where things got pretty tight. I had to like move furniture or landscaping, dig holes in the ground or some shit like that, which wasn't bad, you know. I don't mind that kind of stuff, but of course I always came back to, I mean, I was always just to subsidize playing music. Anyway, yeah. We're, you know, I'm just looking forward to getting back and playing gigs. I've been in touch with clubs, you know, but nobody knows when or how. So I had a gig here in Berlin on January 24th at a cool club called B Flat. And of course, obviously that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm gearing up for playing outside in springtime.
Yeah, it would be great to see a live show again. It's been so long since I've seen a band play live.
When did it must have been the 90s or something last time? And I mean, seriously, no, was it at the Liederbühne?
I don't know.
You can't remember. Yeah,
No.
it's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to coming back down there and playing the places we play and getting back to doing it regularly. So
When you come back to Bavaria, you have to let us know so we can come see you.
sure. We used to play an awesome place in Munich called Feuerwerk.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Is it still?
I think so, yes.
That was a cool place. Another kind of hippie establishment. I mean, that's also changed. You know, the shit in Germany has changed dramatically since I first came. People were really idealistic, and a lot of people had like, you know, a lot of principle and thinking about doing the right thing and stuff, and you know, the environmentally conscious nature of the country and the whole just righteous, trying to do the righteous thing, you know, which I think still exists to a large degree. I mean, you can only look at Angela Merkel and at Donald Trump, and you know, I mean, I think the comparison's pretty obvious. But back then, I really found like a lot of the venues we played, the people were just so like open arms, you know, like, hey, you know, and wanted to talk and you know, like, and that's still the same, but I think people are under a lot more pressure today, financially and socially, in a lot of ways that Germany was sort of free of when I first came over here in the early 90s. I don't know. You guys have grown up here, so maybe you don't notice any changes, but you are.
I don't know what it was like in the 90s because I wasn't alive.
Oh, come on. Well, let me tell you, way back in the old 90s, it was, no, I don't know. Yeah, we'll play in Bavaria again. It's awesome. It's awesome playing there. And we can do a Frühschnupf or whatever it is on a Sunday morning. Play a Saturday night. What is it?
Frühschoppen.
Frühschoppen?
What is it?
Free shopping is when you drink beer in the morning.
Yeah. Fruit shopping. It's like early shopping. Wait a minute. Well, I'll give you an example of how Germany's changed. When I first came here, I was freaked out when I was like, okay, I'm going to go do something. And then, oh no, the shit is closed. Everything's closed. I'm like, what? And then, oh, we open again at 2. And then, I can't get a fucking meal. I can't get lunch because, oh, we closed. Sorry. Like, what? And then Saturday afternoon, everything's closed, and Sunday. And I think that now, having lived here, and now in Berlin for, 15, it'll be 16 years. I still hate that because I love going out anytime and fucking getting what I want. But I understand it now. I'm sort of like, okay, that's for people who work in stores or restaurants. Why should they have to fucking work all the time? And it's so much pressure, it puts economic pressure on everybody. So I kind of get it now.
Yeah. And you get used to it. We're used to everything being closed on Sundays. So.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, I should say a couple more words. Oh, you can order the CD on lametta-music.com. That's the record company. It's a small record company here in Berlin. Or you can just go to jeffmezzrowband.com and order it. And it's 15 measly bucks. Very reasonably priced. Yeah, I don't know. There's some stuff that was highly arranged that we went in and just knew exactly what we were going to do. And there's like studio jams on there that are really taken way out. Like the song Ready to Spring is, just sort of happened. We were in there and it just sort of, whoa, okay, that's what we did. And I love that aspect of it too. Pawning the Planets, the name of the CD, and I should just play a little of that song. And do you know what pawning means?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe you can explain it to whoever's watching, because
it's explain it.
It's a lie house, right? Like lie house.
Yeah, Pfandhaus.
Pfandhaus.
Pfandhaus, Leihhaus, yes.
So, the level of cynicism from the leaders, like particularly the American leaders like Trump, about the environment, it's just like, they're shitting on our planet, and so I had to write something about that, because there are these issues that come and go, like I mentioned, financial stuff that's crazy, and there's issues, like Trump, like the erosion of democracy, like how things are we're in danger of losing what we have, and then there are these eternal things like racism, that this just keeps coming, never goes away. And then there's this relatively new issue of environmental destruction, and that is, sad to say, it might even be the most important thing, because the way they're going, it might make the planet unlivable. So anyway, I wrote this song called "Pawning the Planet." I'm sitting up on this stool, Well, now the creeping, the grabbing, the power, nabbing, the bond, the backstabbing, the posturing, endless black, the glaciers melting, it's falling, deniers keep stalling. What's the plan? It's planet falling. The planet, the planet. Well, now can't you see what they're doing to me? to you. And all the children corrosion of the public trust, bringing out the worst in us. Emotions rising, sprawling, politicians yawning. What's the plan? It's planet home. The planet. They're on the planet. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, like that.
It's a great song.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, and it's I thought of it because it's a title track of the record, and it's Trump will go away and hopefully cease to exist soon. But that topic is just going to be like with us, and if you treat that topic lightly, it can make the planet into a very, very sad place. So that's why I named it that.
Yeah, I think we all have to work together and try to stop the climate change and try to make this planet a healthy planet again.
Yeah. Right. Well, I don't know. Anything else you guys want to talk about today? The quality of sparkling water? Oh, good.
I got one question. Did you ever get the chance to play or jam with some of those old blues guys you talked before?
Well, not some old blues guys, but a couple soul guys. Sam and Dave. Do you know who they are?
Yeah.
And I played. That was just like sitting in, but then I played a whole night with the Drifters as a pickup guitar player. They needed a guitar player, and I don't know if you know who the Drifters were, but they had some really great songs like "Under the Boardwalk." We'll be having some fun under the boardwalk. We'll be falling in love. That one,
Yeah, I know that.
They had a lot of big hits. Anyway, it was that was an amazing experience because set up and then they come out like completely with the suits on. This was like in the 80s. They come out with like all their suits on and start doing that dance thing. And then what really blew me away was, the vocals were incredible, but they had a true bass vocalist. And it was coming through a big fat ass PA. And like, when he did "Under the Boardwalk," the whole room shook, and he had a deep voice. You rarely encounter, people who are true bass singers. And so that was a real experience. And then, I really missed the opportunity with Albert King because I met him a few times. After that, I was playing in Greenwich Village, and he was playing across the street at a place in the Village, and I just met him on the street. And I was like, "Mr. King, do you remember me? From that high school prom?" And he was like, "Oh yeah." And I'm sure he didn't. But being the cocky. Well, not even cocky, just idiotic kid I was like, "Can you come and sit in with my band?" Instead of me asking him, "Can I just come up and play some rhythm guitar for you?" He's like, "Well, I'm kind of busy tonight." I was like, instead of thinking fast on my feet and go, oh, well, maybe I could just come and sit in with you. Yeah. And then Buddy Guy and Junior Wells. They were on tour. This was a long time ago, like around 1980. And the drummer in my band was a guy from Louisiana named Jesse Green. He was a black guy who moved to Chicago when he was 16, and he was a drummer. And he had played with, everybody. Well, Buddy Guy and Junior Wells, he played with them, and he played with Albert King and Otis Rush, who's another hero. Anyway, Jesse, they called Jesse because they were like Chuck Berry and a lot of these guys, they had regional bands where they would have, you know, like a band for the Northeast and just a pickup band. And they called Jesse and said, can you play drums in our pickup band? Of course, Jesse knew all their stuff. And he played. And so I went to their sound check. And anyway, I was I'm a huge fan of both of them, but Junior Wells, I'm an enormous fan of. They both passed away now, but Junior Wells was the harp player, and he played a really distorted harp, and he would go, like, play a riff, and then, he'd do a lot of moaning and stuff, and then he did this thing. I don't know, I can't do it loud. There's some people that can really do that loud, you know what I mean? And he was one of them. So he'd play a riff and then he'd go. Anyway, so he came and sat at the table, and where I was sitting after their sound check, and he's like, Jesse introduces us like this. This is Jeff, the guitar player I'm playing with. And Junior Walker goes, hey man, let me buy you a drink. And I'm like, wow, okay. I didn't even know what to call him. Could you call him Junior? I mean, he's already not a young man,
Yeah.
So anyway, we had a drink, and then he's like, then I was, hey, I'm such a huge fan of your playing, and I particularly like, you do that thing where you go, and he was like, oh yeah, man. And he went, you put that upside a pussy, and that girl never leave you alone. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, good advice. It was like, totally took me by surprise. And then I went backstage, and Buddy's brother was up on a stool, like I'm sitting on a stool now. And, these guys are down home from the South, black guys. And literally, I don't know, there must have been 8 white girls around him. And many of them on their knees, like he's sitting on a stool, sort of draped on his leg, and he's smoking a joint, and he goes like this, and I'm like, no, thanks. And he goes, scared? And I'm like, no, I kind of was a little like, oh, wow. I mean, I was a little out of, like a fish out of water, but, it was quite an experience. But once again, stupidly, I didn't ask them to sit in because I easily could have, but I got a zillion, I mean, literally a million blues guys stories. We'll do another one where I really have like 20 stories, like, I met Muddy Waters, have all kinds of stories about these guys. Howlin' Wolf. Anyway, yeah.
Well, you're free to tell the stories if you want to.
Okay, I'll have to sort of, write a list. Now you should tell, the Otis Rush story. Now you have to tell, yeah.
So my dad had a question. He asked me to ask you if you're still in touch with Billy, your old bass player.
Absolutely. I just talked to him like a week ago, and he's doing great. He's in Las Vegas with he was in the Blue Man Group a couple of years before I was. So he's done like 20 years in the Blue Man Group in Vegas, and for a while he came over and did tours with me while he was still, got time off and did stuff. But he is doing great. He's married, and they have I don't know, Daphne is, 8 months old. So he's a dad now, and doing great. He's a dear friend. I'm still in touch with pretty much all the guys except a couple guys died who I played with. Andrew Frawley, the drummer, was in a terrible car accident in Florida, and he passed away 5-10 years ago. And Rollo Rook, who did one tour with me, a German guy, had a brain cancer, and he died. But I'm pretty much in touch with everybody else who I played with, because it was a great experience. They're all veterans of Foreign Mez. Came over here and lived like pirates for a couple months. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
my dad told me that the first time he saw you play live, he met up with Billy at the bar after the show and drank a bottle of whiskey.
that sounds very likely. That was, see, the thing is, for your dad, that was probably a nice thing, but for Billy, it got to be every night. But he's been, you know, I don't know how many years now, close to 20 years sober, like nothing.
Yeah.
So he's fine now. You know, he's absolutely fine. But back then, you know, I remember when it really came to a head was I was always looking for other venues for us to play, and then a guy contacted me from Sweden, and he was really well connected with a lot of gigs. So he booked us a tour in Scandinavia, where we went from like Norway to Sweden, over on a ferry to Finland, and it was awesome. You know, it was really fun. But early on in the tour, it became obvious that Billy was, you know, a number of guys did this, so it could have been anybody. But, you know, started drinking during the day. You know, you get in the van after a full night and start driving to the next gig, and the Jack and Coke, or the, you know, pure Jack, gets busted out. And like, really? Fucking 12 noon? Or, you know, how can you even do it? You know, it just seemed like, I mean, I enjoy a taste, there's no doubt about it, but not like that. Anyway, but thank God he's completely straightened up. Anyway, I had to talk with him. He was totally professional and totally cool. He's like, yeah, you're right, fuck it. But he still had to wrestle for a while with it. But he wrestled and he won, so that's a happy story.
Yeah, I'm glad he's fine. That's good to hear.
Yeah. And geez, I don't know who else. I was thinking of there was another bass player I played with briefly. He just came over to do one like 6-week tour, Jeff Derosa. And he, a couple notable things about him. He was great, a lot of fun. He came in like last minute because I forget somebody canceled and just couldn't come over. Anyway, he was 18, and so I went over to audition people, and when I said, I called him and said, hey man, you got the gig, you know, I know you're really young, but you're really good, you know, and I think that we can really hit it off. And he was like, yeah, well, the thing is, you got to come over and meet my mom. So I had to go over to his house and, you know, have a cup of coffee with his mom. And she's like, you know, I just want you to know, I don't approve of drugs. And I'm like, neither do I, you know, no drugs. And I don't think she asked about drinking, no. So anyway, yeah, he was great. And now he's, for the past several years, he's been in a band called the Dropkick Murphys. And they're all the time. But I think they're all sober because they all went through all the shit too. Another Boston band.
Yeah, I know the Dropkick Murphys. I think Vince actually saw them.
Yeah, I saw them live in Munich a few years ago.
Yeah, he's been with them for 10 years or something. So you saw him. He's the guy who plays mandolin, acoustic guitar. He changes up instruments.
Okay.
He's the young guy. He's still young compared to everybody else. So yeah. Anyway, sure. We'll do it again sometime. I'll try to catalog all my crazy, insane stories.
Yeah, sure, that would be great. We want to hear all these crazy stories.
I guess I can tell them. Maybe some of the names have got to be changed to protect the innocent.
We just have to do like this beep sound over the names whenever they come up.
Right. And that beep said. Right. Yeah. Well, great talking with you guys. I really enjoyed it, and looking forward to seeing you sometime down south. Maybe you guys, your band, can be on the same bill. We can
That
do a
would be
show.
great. We would
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
But
Let's do
thank
it.
you so much
Yeah,
for
thank
taking
you.
the time today.
No problem. Fun hookup.
Yeah, and we would love to do this again when new music of yours is coming out, and we would love to do another one.
Absolutely. And when we got another tour booked down south, I'll contact you and see if we can promo the shit out of it with you guys.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great, yeah.
All right. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Have a great
Ciao.
day.
Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Ciao.